Hello folks, this is Ruth Meed and I'm looking forward to once again doing a review for the Special Ed Homeschool page. And this particular program I'm really excited about. It's an amazing program that is based off of material that's been around for a very long time and has been shown over many years to be incredibly effective to help kids, especially those with learning disabilities, in the language arts. So I'm going to just jump right in and show you the program. This is based off of Orton-Gillingham, and this program was first created way back, I think it was in the 30s or 40s, out of Orton-Gillingham. Now, Orton-Gillingham has been a multisensory phonics and reading-based program for many years, and there's just a ton of research that shows this program is incredible. So when I heard that they've actually put this whole program online for especially homeschooling parents to access, I was very thrilled, because normally you have to spend a lot of money to get Orton-Gillingham trained. I'll just show you real quick. If you want to get Orton-Gillingham trained to be able to teach kids in your neighborhood or do a homeschool cooperative, you can actually get the training, and this is an incredibly reasonable price for everything that's in there. And they've got dates and the whole 9 yards, as you can see. That's pretty incredible. So let's just jump back to the main program itself here and look at the software. So they've got games, they've got structure, it's all phonics awareness, phonemic awareness, phonics fluency, vocabulary, and reading comprehension. And it's explicit, it's systematic, and it's multisensory. So it's available for both schools and homes. And the thing that's exciting is it's available through state programs. So if your child has disabilities and they have an actual diagnosis, then there's 43 states that you can get funding through to help pay for this program. So a couple of ones that are listed right on their page: Detroit is part of this, and if you're in New York State, they're part of this, Georgia State Department of Education, and then there's a couple of other organizations that you can check to find out whether or not their state will give you the funding. And you can look through the Home Buyers Co-op or Rainbow Resources, and often homeschoolers know of other ones that I don't even know, where you can find out if you can get state funding if your child has a documented disability. So I said again, this program is multisensory, it's phonics based, but the exciting thing is it's not just for kids who are struggling, it's actually for learners at a much higher level. So there's 3 different possible options if you're a homeschooling parent, and I'm focusing on obviously the homeschooling parent for the SPED Homeschool page. So the positive thing, because it's in schools as well as at home, they can transfer back and forth. So if your student's been in a school where they were doing this at school, you can pay and have it transferred over to home and they can keep going with the program. Or if you're at home and you want to switch it back to the school setting, it can be switched back to the school if that school is using the program at school. So for now, we're focusing on the homeschool setting. So let's look at what the cost would be for a license. There's 3 different options here. You can do just an early start, or if you're looking to do some kind of educational testing for your child because they have a disability, or you think they might have, but you don't have thousands of dollars to pay for formal testing, and you think they've got something going on with their reading, you can pay to have this done and get the pretest off of this program. And then from there, you can decide whether or not they need more intensive kindergarten to 2nd grade type of training, or if they need the whole kit and caboodle of kindergarten through 12th grade. So you can pay depending on what you think your child needs of this program. The other thing that's amazing about it is they have parent discounts. So if you are a parent and you are looking for your child to be able to get into this program, you contact Patty, and I've put her email in the written part of this summary that's underneath the video. Her email's down there for you, and you contact her and she sets it up and she tells you how to fill out this form to get a family discount if you want several members of your family to do this. What I love about this is they have a pre-trial. So if you want to check out the program, you can sign in. You could, like, when you click in this login menu here, it gives you the option of doing a 15-day trial. So you can jump in and do that 15-day trial if you want to do that. Now, the other thing that's really awesome about this is they have the option of you just purchasing materials. So if you don't want to buy the whole kit, but you want to get some specific material, and you've got a child who's struggling in a specific area in the language arts, as you can see, there's tons of it. You got the phonics, you got blends, you got reading comprehension, prep 1, prep 2, and it's legitimate to say that when you see certain levels here, so your level 2A, 2A-B, that's comparable to grade levels. And these are aligned with state standards. So when they're taking this curriculum and working their way through it, they're getting the state standards. So there's just a lot of value to this program. You can see it goes all the way up. You can get basic spelling rules if you're needing prefixes and suffixes, if you need the elementary stuff, if you need the middle school. This is the Greek and Latin roots are middle school related. If you've got some hand-eye coordination and you want to work with your left hand-eye movements and your right hand, it's all right here. They've got some workbooks that will help you with teaching your child how to get that left and right tracking and those kinds of, there's tons of material here. So you can look away at that. It's just www.maxscholar.com is how you find this stuff. So let's just jump into the program here for a minute and show you what you can see when you're in the program itself. So I have logged in for a demo time, and the demo doesn't show you everything that's available in the program, but it does give you a chance to see some of the things that are available. So let me show you one other program thing that you can get. This talks about the placement test. So everybody who comes into the program takes a placement test. And this is the demonstration of how they do their placement test. So what they do is, regardless of the level the child is at, they'll start with very simple questions. And if they can answer 4 questions correctly, then they bump them up to a higher level. And if they can answer 4 questions at that level, they bump them up to a higher level, and they keep taking them up until they can't answer 3 questions correctly. And if they get to the point where they can't answer 3 questions correctly, then that's where they put them at level wise for starting in the program. So you don't have to spend all this time trying to figure out where they should start in the program. Once they've gone down through this test, it automatically places them and gives them the assignments. And I'll show you the dashboard for that. It's really quite incredible. This is a really good learning management system. So it's simple stuff like this at the beginning where you're identifying things, and then at the much higher level, they actually give them a whole story and some sample comprehension questions to determine whether or not they need this level of reading or more complicated or less complicated. So that's how they've set up their program when they do the pretest, to make sure a child is placed in the program right where they are. So they're not doing review of information they don't know, and they're not buried with being too frustrated with information they can't learn yet because they just don't know the prerequisite skills. So let's just take a peek. Well, no, let me look at the dashboard for a second. We'll come back to take a peek at the actual things that you can have in the program. As a parent, you get all of these reports that you can use with progress monitoring and things like that. So you can click in here and you can click on student. I'm going to select the things that you need. So you can go in and pick obviously it would be your home school and your name, and then you can generate a report of what they've done for a period of time. So you see that you generated a report, tells you how long they've been in the program, what they got for a grade in each of the different areas. So you've got phonics, you've got reading, you've got words, you've got their music program. The music is they let them play with lyrics and things like that while practicing their language skills. Max Places is kind of a geography/history version of the program that is for higher levels and lets you teach history and geography through this program. And then the bios is there are several different biographies of famous people like, you know, Martin Luther King or Abraham Lincoln or George Washington, just famous people, or more modern people like Rihanna or some of these famous pop stars and stuff. They've got their bios in there too that students can read about. And in the process of reading, they're practicing their reading skills, they're practicing their spelling skills, their pronunciation skills with the way the program is set up. But this takes all of the grading and progress monitoring out of your lap. You don't have to worry about any of it. They place them in there where they need to be, and then they can start working through the program at their pace on the skills that they need. So that's the dashboard. Now, one thing I don't like about this program is the only way you can get back to actually working in the program is you got to make sure you go clear up here to this arrow to the left to get back there. Otherwise, you have to retype in MaxScholar because it won't let you go back into MaxScholar. So see how I'm having to go back through several screens here? That's a little bit annoying to have to wait for it to get me all the way back to the main page. So that would be one of the things that's a little bit annoying. So let's just jump right in and actually take a look at some of the program itself. When you first get in here, they welcome you back every time. You're welcomed back, and they start you out with this screen, and it doesn't change. You have to look at this every time because they are trying to teach you the mindset of this is a scripted, specifically structured program, and it's done the way it is for a reason, because there are some students who need that constant, careful, systematic repetition of concepts. So even you as the parent, when you come in here, you have to click through each screen so you get the constant repetition of the concepts that are in the program. So it's welcome to your account, then you have to click next. The first one is Phonics. It teaches about your vowels and blends and digraphs and working with the skills of letter recognition, phonemic awareness, sound blending, fluency, those kinds of things. Then your next one is reading. It helps students with improving their reading comprehension, their vocabulary, and their writing. There are hundreds of stories for students to choose from. Then there is their work with morphology, which is the meaning of words. So different levels and exercises, including breaking words into syllables, the spelling rules, prefixes, suffixes, roots, all kinds of fun stuff like that. Those are more middle school standards. Max Places takes them to different places around the world and uses those places around the world in geography and social studies and history to, again, practice their reading and language arts skills. Max Bios, I mentioned that already. Those are biographies of different people who've made an impact on the world. Max Music, they get to play with popular music lyrics, but also find out the grammatical structure of those music lyrics and practice their grammar, finding verbs, adverbs, things like that, even while they're playing with songs that they like. And then the last one's Max Vocabulary, where they have games that they can play.
Choose a program to start.
This is all auditory, it's all visual, it's all kinesthetic. You're constantly getting feedback in several different areas. So we're going to jump into one of the phonics lessons so you can see how this works. I'm going to jump into the alphabet one. So let's say we're going to teach, you can see actually, I wanted to mention this. I could start a new lesson if I wanted to, or I can continue a lesson. So if a student is working for a bit and they get tired and they can't do the full 8 or 10 minute lesson, then they can stop and they can come back and continue where they were in that same lesson. But I'm going to jump into a new one just to show you how it works with a whole lesson. So we'll pick the letter R. And you click start. So first you get the visual.
This is the letter R.
Then you get tactile, then you get auditory.
As in rain.
And you can paste this. You can sit for a while without moving, or it'll automatically go forward.
Now let's try saying it together. You say it out loud with me. R.
R. As in rain. Sounds like Now you can see where if you click on this arrow, sometimes it can skip steps.
What is the name of this letter?
R.
What is the name of this picture?
rain.
What is the sound the letter makes?
Okay, then it goes to the
Watch
tactile.
and listen as the letter is written in the sky. Down, up, and half around.
Okay.
Does the word rooster start with the sound? Great. Does the word socks
And it gives
start with the
immediate
sound?
feedback if they get something wrong.
Oops. Does the word crying start with the sound? Great.
Now you notice with that one, the R sound is in the middle, so they make sure they distinguish between whether it starts or it's in the middle.
Great. Does the word rainbow start with the sound? Great.
Okay, so you can pause it at any point.
Great. You have finished the sequence for this letter. Now let's see if you mastered it.
And then they give them some testing.
Look at the letters on the screen and click on all the boxes where you see the letter R.
And I'm going to do some wrong just to show you what happens if you get some wrong.
Does the word rocket
So sometimes it doesn't give feedback because this is an actual quiz.
Does the word camel? Does the word roost? Does the word magnet? Does the word rainbow? Click on each speaker to hear a sound, and then click on the circle below the one that makes the proper sound for
So if you've got a student who likes to rush through things, you're going to have to teach him that he's got to stop long enough to make sure he's got the right one, because if he's getting too many mistakes. So there's some things with this where, especially at the beginning when you're working with your students, you're going to have to teach them to be patient with the program, especially if they want to just get done. So just be careful with that. Other than that, I really don't see any major issues with this program. The one thing that does happen with some of the...
Click on each box.
I'll let you look at this for a second here.
Written. Then click on the circle below the one that does the proper writing of R. Down to the right and down to the left. Down, up, and half around. Down and up.
So you can see some of the different options that there are.
You almost got it. Let's go back and review some more.
So this is where I intentionally did enough wrong so you can see it gets them to go back and review, but if they get it right, then they can go back, they can go on to the next exercise. So it lets you see if they're taking it seriously or not, and that's one thing you have to pay attention to with your students, if they're taking it seriously or not. If they're constantly getting them wrong, then you got to say, okay, were you concentrating? Is there something else you don't understand? And if they don't understand, that's where you can go to the dashboard. I'm not going to click on it again because if I do, it takes me out of here. You can go to the dashboard and print off the materials that go with each one of these lessons and let them actually look at them by hand on a piece of paper and work them through that way as well. And all of that comes with your, if you buy the $299 package, that all comes with it as free resources that go along with the lessons. If you buy some of the lesser packages, sometimes you have to buy the material. But like that $299 a year, that boils down to, you know, very little a month when you add up the cost compared to other programs that are out there and what's all in this. I mean, it grades it. It does, basically this takes everything out of the parent's lap and does it for them, but you do have to do a little bit of monitoring along the way to make sure they're following the program right, that they're not jumping through things, that they're not getting a bunch of incorrects. So there's a little bit of monitoring, but a great deal of this is done. It takes care of their education for the year, and it would be aligned with the state standards for different states. So definitely a program I recommend. Now, if you like what's going on here, you know, click like, share it with other people, let them know about it. SPED Homeschool would love to have more people know about all the resources that they're offering. And this is a great opportunity if you're looking for a program for your students that is affordable. And again, if they have a disability, a diagnosed disability, you can look at your state. There's 43 states that give funding for this program because it fits under the category of research-based recognized programs. I really couldn't think of anything else that was really super negative with this, because most of it is just so completely carefully thought through and intuitive. And they've just done a fantastic job of putting together a program that was already recognized for, decades as a fantastic program to teach kids how to read. So we wish you a blessed day and hope you find this resource useful.